Good day everyone. In this video, I am going to share to you the origin and historical background of Greek literature. So the name Greece comes from Latin Graecia, which in turn comes from the Greek word Graikoi, in which it is the original name of the people living in Dodona. However, the word is used to address people living in Greece, and the original Greek name was and still is Helias, and which is the land of Hellenes. And originally this was a small area of south of Thessalia, but it was widely used for people with a Greek background and culture stretching from the west coast of Asia Minor, southern Italy and Sicily, into the Pyrenees and northern Africa. Influences from their art and culture have made a great impact on European and American culture, and their highly organized society. Even the word politics is a Greek word, and their system of justice, and of course their arts and sculptures, statues, plays, and methodology have been a major source of inspiration to other countries. For their literature, it is written in Greek language from earliest texts dating back to the Archaic period until the 4th century. And this period of Greek literature stretches from Homer until the rise of Alexander the Great, and it provides the foundation of Western literature. In fact, 30% of the word in the dictionary comes from the ancient Greek language, and ancient Greeks were the first to use vowels. Additionally, the word alphabet came from the ancient words which are the alpha and beta. Now, there are 4 major writings in ancient Greek literature. These are the epic traditions, lyric poetry, tragedy, and comedy. And for the language that they used, ancient Greek was a pluricentric language divided into many dialects. And these dialects can be divided into 5, which are the Attic Ionic, Achaean, Aeolic, Doric, and Northwest Greek. However, the main dialect groups are Attic and Ionic, Aeolic, and Doric.
Good day everyone. I am Rhea Rose Labrador, and I will be discussing about the overview of education in Athens and Sparta. First, let us discuss in the Athens. Athens, they had the physical educations where they learn sports and gymnastics. They also learn basic math, how to play musical instruments, how to sing, and how to write well. They also memorized the Odyssey and the Iliad by Homer because these were the most important works in their world. Their primary purpose of Athenian education was to produce thinkers, people well trained in arts and sciences, and people prepared for peace or war. Young Athenian boys were tutored at home until the age of 6 or 7, and then they were sent to neighborhood schools for primary education until they were 14 years of age. In the Sparta's education, the purpose of education was to produce and maintain a powerful army. Sparta boys entered military school when they were about 6 years old. They learned how to read and write, but those skills were not considered very important except for messages. Ages in ancient Greek literature. First is the Archaic period. In the Archaic period, in history and archaeology, the earliest phases of a culture, the term is most frequently used by art historians to denote the period of artistic development in Greece from about 650 to 480 BC, the date of the Persian sack of Athens. The second one is the Classical period. It is compositionally defined by the balanced eclecticism of the late 18th and early 19th century Venice school of Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven, and Schubert, who completely observe and individually fuse or transform the vast array of 18th century textures and formal types. Issues of truth and morality were raised argumentative, rhetorical, and oratorical genres. Plato and Aristotle, with their classical works that have been part of Western thought for many centuries. And the last one is the Hellenistic and Greco-Roman period. Underwent certain transformation. Greek language became the national language of Macedonians and territories of Alexander the Great's empire. Literature changed from a popular public to a private select and erudite one, where the center of the world is Rome, until Constantinople became the capital of the Byzantine Empire.
Good day everyone, I am Layson Jenelyn. So now we'll be talking about the Greek mythology. So first, let us define methodology and myths, or know the difference between these two terms. So methodology. Methodology is a collection of myths, especially one belonging to a particular religious or cultural tradition, or the study of myths. Or methodology is also defined as a set of legends, stories, or beliefs, especially ones that have a religious or cultural tradition. The collection of stories about the ancient Greeks are an example of methodology. Myths. So myths are stories that are based on tradition. Some may have factual origins while others are completely fictional. A myth is also a story that told again and again, and a series to explain why something is the way it is. A creation of myth, for example, is a story that tells how the world came into being. We may have studied Greek myths in which gods and goddesses wage war to play tricks on each other. So what is Greek mythology all about? So Greek mythology is a body of stories concerning the gods, heroes, and rituals of the ancient Greeks. That the myths contained a considerate element of fiction was recognized by the more critical Greeks, such as the philosopher Plato in the 5th to 4th century BCE. In general, however, in the popular piety of the Greek, the myths are viewed as the true accounts. Greek mythology has subsequently had extensive influence on the arts and in the Western civilization that fell heir to with the Greek culture. Greek mythology past and present. So the characters, stories, themes, and lessons of Greek mythology have shaped art of literature for thousands of years. They appear in Renaissance paintings such as Botticelli's Birth of Venus and Raphael's Triumph of Galatea, writings and Dante's Inferno, romantic poetry and libretti, and scores of more recent novels, plays, and films.
Hello everyone, I am Jeneline A. Mantong, and for my part, I will be discussing to you or introducing to you 10 of the most renowned Greek writers. Just a disclaimer, the ranking is based on the algorithm that combines various factors, including the votes of the users and search trends on the internet. So to start, of the literature of the ancient Greece, only a relatively small proportion survives. Yet it remains important not only because much of it is of supreme quality, but also because until the mid 18th century, the greater part of the literature of the Western world was produced by writers who were familiar with the Greek tradition. And believe it or not, much of what we read today was first evolved by Greeks. And yes, Greek writers didn't just plainly write, but the initiator of genres in the world literature. Ancient Greek writers exerted a strong influence on Western societies, and their works and write-ups are still that till today their impact on modern culture is quite evident. And to know more about the fascinating facts about these writers, let's start. We have first in the list Homer. He is a legendary poet from the 18th century, the 8th century BC, and Homer hailed as the poet of the Iliad and the Odyssey, the two great epics which laid the foundation of Greek literature, and however the Homeric questions raises doubts regarding the existence of the poets. Some assume that the epics were written by a single blind bard, while others believe that they were created by multiple authors. Next is we have Aeschylus. Aeschylus is credited with pioneering the trend of using multiple characters in theater, allowing them to interact among themselves instead of the chorus. It is best remembered for his he is best remembered, for his tragedy, most notably the Persians, the trilogy, which is the Oresteia and the Prometheus Bound. His works were awarded at the city of Genesia. Next is we have Sophocles. Sophocles was an ancient Greek writer, and he is among the three trage- tragedians from his era whose plays have survived. Sophocles was the most decorated and celebrated playwright for almost 5 decades, and during which he won 24 out of 30 dramatic competitions which took place in the city-state of Athens during the religious festivals of the Genesia and the Linnea. Let's proceed to the fourth. We have Sappho. Sappho was a lyric poet from Lesbos in the 6th to 7th century BC. She was known as the tenth muse. She was known for the tenth muse. She wrote the Ode to Aphrodite and Tithonus poem. Though her sexuality is still debated, she gave rise to the terms sapphic and lesbian, used to denote love and desire between women. Let's proceed to the fifth. We have here Euripides. Euripides is one of the three Greek tragedians together with Sophocles and Aeschylus. Euripides wrote around 92 plays, out of which 18 or 19 have survived intact. He is known for theatrical innovations that influence modern drama, as well as the particular that includes representation of mythical heroes as common people in exceptional circumstances, and his notable works include Hippolytus, Eclipsis, and Medea. Next is we have Arianna Huffington. Arianna Huffington is a Greek-American author, a businesswoman, and syndicated columnist. She's credited with co-founding the popular aggregator and blog, The Huffington Post, and she also is the founder of the Tribe Global, for which she serves as the CEO. She has been featured on lists such as the Time magazine's 100 Most Influential People and Forbes magazine's Most Powerful Women. Now we have seventh Aristophanes. Aristophanes is widely known as the father of comedy. Greek playwright Aristophanes had contributed the old comedy genre, and his works peppered with satire, mirror the ancient Athenian life, and he won the City Genesia drama contest for his play The Babylonians. He was also in trouble for caricaturing Cleon in his plays. And for the eighth in the list, we have Aesop. Aesop, there is not a single child in the world who has not heard of Aesop's fable, and that's true. But the legendary Greek fabulist Aesop, known for using animal characters to impart moral lessons, is believed to have never existed by some historians. But Aesop was perhaps a name concocted to unite references for age-old fables. For the ninth, We have Nikos Kazantzakis. He is a philosopher as well as a writer. Nikos Kazantzakis was a Greek writer whose works earned him 9 nominations for the prestigious Nobel Prize in Literature and regarded as a giant of modern Greek literature. Kazantzakis achieved international fame when his works such as The Life and Times of Alexis Zerba and Last Temptation of Christ, which were adapted into theater feature to films. And last but not the least, we have Hesiod. Hesiod. Hesiod was an ancient Greek poet who was credited by ancient authors with establishing Greek religious customs. Modern scholars often cite his work as an important source for early economic thought, a Greek methodology, archaic Greek astronomy and farming techniques, as well as the ancient timekeeping. So for that would be all for our top 10 most well-known literature and Greek literature of all time. So that would be all. Thank you for listening.